test.
Good, it's working.
Well, I just all covered.
Have what you need. The letter.
What I need. A microphone.
Mm. It was there. It's at the computer.
Fred or Frank?
Frank.
Yeah.
On.
Is prayer okay.
Everybody please move to the front. Let's make it look more full.
Yeah.
Come on, people.
Yeah.
This is a special service that we're having to be followed today. And I want to feel personally connected and part of the service. Let's get going.
She's gonna wipe the towel. That's just- You're doing an interpretive dance. Did you get that email? Oh, Frank's a dancer too.
Oh my goodness, we have four congregations in our festival today.
Yay.
We're gonna do flow readings and interpretive dance.
Welcome.
You don't sit too far back now. You want to make this look full.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you very much. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, people in the room. Can name us all. Welcome to people on Zoom. Frank, could you tell us who we have on Zoom, if anyone?
Gary and Carolyn and Jay Lincoln.
Okay, good. And in the room, we have David and Sandra and Dick and Jean and Bill and Kate and Joan and Julia and Frank and Betsy. So, take a minute to look at each other and say hey, and hopefully a little more time and someone else is joining us. Hello, welcome. Nancy, welcome. So, I'd like to begin with reading our shortened version of your beautiful covenant together. It's in your order of worship. Welcome, whoever's coming in. Hi. So I'll say a line and then I'll ask you to say a line or part of a line. We covenant with one another to promote justice and peace Thank you. Joan, would you please light our chalice? Thank you. And I will read the chalice lighting. For people at home, feel free to light a candle at this time so we can feel connected together in the lighting. Thank you. And before I read, Joan, do you want to ask, do you need another ringer?
Hello, I'm Joan. Hear me. We're going to ring the bells today. We've been doing this since April 2022. And we're ringing the bells for recognition of the climate crisis. And this is the 11th hour. It's going to be soon. We won't be able to turn back from the crisis that is looming. And so we thought we would invite anyone from the congregation that wanted to ring the bells. Today, we're going to ring them at 11 o'clock for 11 minutes. So if you'd like to show a hand, or Bill Ashley has agreed to ring the bells as well, but does anyone else want to do that? Just wanted to open up to the congregation.
Okay, thank you for the offering. Thank you, Bill and Joan, for ringing when the time comes. Okay, so our chalice lighting today is a reading by Ross Gay called Inciting Joy. Joy does not arrive with a fanfare on a red carpet strewn with the flowers of a perfect life. Joy sneaks in as you pour a cup of coffee, watching sun hit your favorite tree just right. And you usher joy away because you're not ready for it. Your house is not as it must be for such a distinguished guest. But joy cares nothing about your messy home, your bank balance, or your waistline. You see, joy is supposed to slither through the cracks of your imperfect life. That's how joy works. So today's service is titled Sparks of Light and Specks of Joy. And I chose this topic because coming into, well, first of all, we're coming out of the darkest days of the year. We are in the darkest days of the year. And I just want to acknowledge that just as the light outside shifts, so do our internal energies shift often. And personally, I have felt my pace in these beginning of winter, my pace slow, my stillness grow. I've been really pondering the message of Advent, as some of you may have, just waiting, awaiting the glory, awaiting the light, awaiting the change, awaiting goodness. And imagining darkness like a womb, nice, dark, sacred space that feels safe, that feels protected, good time for reflection and rest. So maybe many of us have been resting more. It's also, many of us feel in the dark in some way or other, meaning not knowing, feeling uncertain, a little sad or stunned or lost. So Advent teaches us not to rush through that dark, not to rush through those feelings, and to spend some time in the dark with ourselves, hopefully with some support, but before we run towards artificial light, false hope, easy answers. We sit in the dark of our own lives, of the darkness of the world, and feel it out before we run to the light. So obviously, many of us are grieving. And just put your hand on your heart if you feel like you're grieving someone beloved who's died, or some part of your life that is over, or an innocence lost, or a optimism fading, right? Most of us have our hands on our heart. So this is a time to take advantage of this quiet, slower, darker time to feel that grief. And I feel like I have been doing that myself, to grieve, to reevaluate life, to recover from what we're all recovering from different things. The other reason we sometimes want to be in the dark is because we need a reprieve from the holiday cheer. How many people feel a little overwhelmed with the canned music and the bright, bright lights? It feels a little too hyper expectant to keep us cheerful all the time. We're not cheerful all the time. And has anybody been to a Blue Christmas? Which is a very different kind of Christmas service where we just acknowledge that there is grief in the world, in our souls, and spend time on that and not rush to this cheeriness. So it can feel exhausting. And a lot of people are living with SAD, seasonal affective disorder. So different ways that we can learn to be in the dark, trust that the light will come again. We will step out into that light. And light does save us. Physical light and metaphorical light saves us. So I just want to talk about all the different sources of light that we have access to. Okay, and just visualize and think how these light sources are for you. So the natural light of the sun. For me, the sun cheers me up, inspires hope. It rises every single day. Whether we see it and it's bright, it's just very hopeful. We can count on it, that cycle. It ignites us with energy, warms us up physically. And sometimes I go outside on a sunny day and just stand here like receiving that light, almost like a syrup, just receiving the warmth, the glory of the sunlight. Moonlight. How many people have been out to see the full moon this week? Glorious, beautiful orange moon. So a little cooler, softer, reflective light that helps us feel that kind of energy. I'm living part-time on the Cape where it's often foggy. And the fog I used to think of as kind of a bleak environment. And now I just love it because there's little slivers of light that come out of all those grays. And it's continually shifting. It's not either dark or light. It's just that soft shifting of light. So I've come to appreciate a lot more a gray day, a foggy day. We look at the stars. How many people are stargazers and just have a awesome feeling of how far away, how long they've been shining, heralding many things at different seasons. They inspire awe. We light candles just to feel close, feel cozy. We have flashlights to show our way. We have sensors or searchlights to keep our fears at bay. How many people light a little night light at night? Little feeling of safety, little tiny feeling of safety. We build bonfires, nice big, bright, bouncing lights to gather us together, to be bold in the cold and really step out there. And then we sometimes light lanterns, nice, steady, low light to keep the darkness away. Or we have happy lights. Many people have a happy light, full spectrum light that can actually lift your mood. Just look at it 4 minutes a day and it can really shift things. So many sources of light to catch a spark and kindle it. So all those lights we have access to. The symbolism of light, obviously we make different meanings out of what light brings us: hope, faith, and faith in God, in Goddess, in goodness, faith in Mother Nature, faith in the mystery, one love, life, many ways we can attribute light, and all the holy days that honor light, from Hanukkah to solstice to Christmas to Diwali. We're bringing light into the physical darkness, to our hurting souls, and to a troubled world. There's a couple beautiful stories from different faiths. Anyone heard of Indra's net from Mahayana Buddhism? There was a king in India who thought a lot of himself and wanted a monument built for him. And the architect decided he was too focused on himself. And what he built was a net, an enormous net, where all the points of light where the net comes together symbolized all the people of the world. And one reflects another, and the tiny lights just build a grand light, like a hologram, showing that we're all connected. There's no one true light that feeds or inspires us all. There's many lights, and we are the light. It also gets into kind of mirror neurons and how we connect to each other, and build empathy by recognizing each other, each as jewels. There's also in mystical Judaism, the story that when God made man and he was shattered, all the shattered pieces of his soul, of the light, scattered across the world. And it's the duty of the Jewish people to gather those shards together and make the world whole, and at the same time make ourselves whole. So many different beautiful stories of light. Light guides us and emboldens us toward justice. Faith leaders embody the light of insight, righteousness, the common light of spirit. Light is contagious in tiny, tiny ways. When you smile at somebody, when you look somebody in the eye, when you share kindness, when you welcome someone, when you show a little bit of affection, when you share good news. We often hear too much of bad news. We share some good news. It's a little speck of light saving us from sadness, from despair. A little bit goes a long way. Has anyone seen Michelle Obama's new book, The Light We Carry? I got a chance to look at it just a little bit. She's one of my sheroes. And she talks about your inner light. If you know your inner light, your inner soul, your inner gifts, you grow confidence. She believes when you grow confidence, you grow calm, you keep a perspective, and you know your place in the world to shine that light. She talks a lot about people who don't believe they have a light. They need to seek it outside, but helping people to grow that inner confidence and our inner gifts. She talks about one person one person's light feeds another, one community's light feeds another. We grow it together. She also talks about in the big work of the world, the tough work of the world to create justice and work on intolerance and bring us together. It's nice to step away from the hard work and have one meditative practice. Hers is knitting, crocheting, clay, gardening, singing, something that's very methodical. You can step away from the head work and feel just the hands working as the mind kind of settles and recovers from the hard work. The gift of absorption in something that you're creating. Simple steps, no decisions to make, and just how patience can grow in that practice. We can consider keep healing the world. Okay, joy. First thought, what brings you joy? I'll have a minute to share that later. But I started thinking of the phrases that first came to my mind with joy: a bundle of joy in a baby, joy to the world in Jesus, joy's savior, jump for joy, or joie de vivre, kind of exuberant, energetic joy. So joy can be silly and fun, or very quiet contentment, kind of solemn joy. Joy might be in just appreciating beauty, awesome beauty, the stars, the mountains, the ocean. Joy can be in remembering, kind of a nostalgia. Often we go back and remember joyous times. That might make us sad that that's not the joy of today, but to trace the feelings of joy, whether it's a memory or a hope for the future, can just bring that feeling into our heart. Joy can be the lull after chaos or craziness. Just having relative calm, lull can feel joyous. What's not happening. I learned in this book, which is also a wonderful book, The Book of Joy, by two of my heroes, the Dalai Lama and Desmond Tutu. We're very good friends and very happy campers in general. The Dalai Lama especially is very interested in brain science. So there's a piece of the book that talks about 4 brain circuits for joy, actual different pathways that have to do with joy. One circuit is that we know our brains know how to maintain a positive state. So we feel good, we know how to hold on to it, experience it, not have it be so fleeting. We have another track that helps us recover from a negative state. So we go through a hard grief, we go through depression, we go through an isolation, the ability to recover and trust that there's another side, that positive side. Mental focus, part of the brain that helps us just really focus on one thing at a time and be able to put things in perspective. An ability to be generous. So I thought that was interesting. Just 4 different ways that we can think about joy. Letting the positive linger, recovering, focusing, and being generous. Joy can sometimes arise out of trouble or tragedy. And as I'm saying all this, just think for yourself, what has arisen? When does joy arise from you? For me, trouble or tragedy, my son had a very serious head injury, emergency head surgery, code blue, and came back. And just the feeling after that horrible night of elation, and just incredible happiness and relief. That's how I felt joy. Having a home birth of my second son, and just the joy of that horror not happening and having a good outcome. The miracle of being simply alive after you've been really hospitalized or, really in trouble. Joy as new surprise, new insight, new love, new place to live. Sometimes the newness is what brings joy. Joy is comfy contentment, sitting by your fireside in a blankie with a good friend. Just the simple, simple pleasures. Joy when justice wins. For me, just in the past couple of weeks, hearing that many Russian people are protesting the war was like joyous. I felt so joyous hearing that. Or Iranian women out in the streets, taking their hijabs off and building their courage and community. People wrongfully convicted in prison, getting out, reading about those stories. So we all have those causes that we care about, people we care about, and just seeing progress can be really joyous. And sometimes how near delight and despair can be. It's telling me time. Oh my goodness. Okay. The time issue is that at 11 o'clock, we're going to ring the bells and we're close. I'm just going to ask you, as I read my particular joys, how joys you might tap into. So I realize my joy often has a little daring in it. Body surfing a big wave gives me joy, and it's partly because it's a little it's a little scary, it's a little just revs me up and feels good. Swinging on a trapeze, I got to swing on a trapeze once, and that was really thrilling and joyous. Climbing a challenging mountain. I already talked about the joy as relief that I've felt. Joy, just pure fun, making a snow angel in the snow, dancing my heart out. Awesome beauty, being in a Hawaiian forest, full moon. And the simple thing of making eye contact with a stranger and having a little smile. It's like brings me joy. So hopefully we all have these little smidgens, specks and sparks of light and joy that we can tap into. Just a little bit more on what Desmond Tutu and the Dalai Lama think about, that joy is not dependent on external circumstances. Joy is a perspective, something we carry in our heart, something we carry in our vision, that it's a frame of reference. It's not, we could be very joyous in a very troubled time. And we learn that we're not the only ones with the problem. We gain humility by packing the people with that same issue around us. We're part of community. They're very big on humor, being able to laugh at ourselves, laugh at a situation, not to cancel it out, but to balance it out. And just to be open to joy that arrives, trust that we deserve it, even though there's a lot of hard things going on internally and externally, joy can help us to do that work. So I think I'll stop there. One more thing I read about a meditation teacher talking about a dog. When you think of a happy dog, how they wag their tail. It's called happy tail syndrome. And how we can show our joy, because when we feel joy and share it in our eyes, in a smile, in a playfulness, in a generosity, we can pass it around, passing the peace, passing the joy, passing the love. And what I would like to offer as we move into the offertory is yeah, I have 10:56. What do you have, David? Okay. Yeah. So, Julia, if you would, thank you, play the offertory piece, and we'll have the offertory, and I'm going to offer you an almond joy at the same time. Spread a little joy. And Zoomers, I'm sorry I can't offer you one, but go get yourself an almond joy. So it is now 11. And I wanted to offer for this 11 minutes a couple opportunities for people. You can, if you want to brave the cold and feel your rigor, you can step outside on the sidewalk, and there's some signs out there, and just talk to people passing by and be a representative of climate awareness and action. You can also sit and meditate on how you might do your part in healing our planet. And I'm going to be doing a meditative walk around the church. And if anybody wants to do just a little walking meditation, and all that means is just a very slow-mo walk, one step, one breath. You can hold on to the pews for balance if you want, but just another way to be reflective. And you can combine them. You can sit a bit, you can walk a bit. And here begins the bells. So here begins our quiet. And meditate on joy and light, as well as the healing the planet. think we are all back. Thank you, Joan and Bill, for ringing. Thank you for keeping this camp, and Russ, thank you. Keeping this action and awareness going. I'd like to read one poem, and then we're going to move into joys and sorrows to share. So this is by G.K. Chesterton. Why can angels fly? Because they take themselves so lightly. And here's his poem. In the face of despair, I saw an angel mount up with wings, swaying gently with such ease and grace. I was utterly immersed in the scenery. It was a source of meditation. I wanted to sway like an angel. But in order to fly, I needed to drop some weight. So I dropped my hurt and anger. It felt lighter, but I needed to drop more weight. So I dropped my attachment to things and people that don't serve me. I dropped my anxiety, my worries, and now I've been reborn. I'm like the sky watching the clouds. I watch the dark clouds pregnant with rain and the bright clouds. Each cloud signifies experience, be it bad or good. I choose to watch without attempting to fix anything. Then I realized I am beginning to sway. Like an angel, I have lost my burdens. I'm as light as a feather, as merry as a kindergartner. I choose to live each day with this knowledge and a deep sense of gratitude for all my experiences. It's beautiful. So, would anyone like to contribute to the service today by lighting the candles as people speak? David, thank you. We can do one person with the mic, one person with the lighting. And this is a time, maybe we can start with Zoom, just while I'm remembering. Any joys and sorrows to share from our Zoom friends? No hands yet? Okay. We'll start in the room then, and then we'll go back to Zoom. So anyone, you can share, so we're talking about joys, a tiny joy, you can celebrate sorrow, concern, your time, and we'll begin.
Hi. Let's see. So yesterday I got a call that yesterday I got a call from somebody regarding the Interfaith Council. And I'm on the website for that. And what they wanted to do was contribute a tent to give to somebody who was living rough. And so I went over to her house in Deerfield. She said she's 83. She's not using the tent anymore. And it's huge. It's 10 by 14. And I had a nice time with her, figuring out all the pieces and making sure, seeing if we had all the pieces. In her front yard, there was a beautiful big sycamore tree in the blue sky. It just sort of made me stop. This was actually before I had met her. I took a picture of it, and I think that I felt so joyful to see this big white angular tree up against the blue sky and along the river in Deerfield. And then as I was packing it into my car, I was just thinking, boy, I sure am glad I don't have to live in this tent in the winter. So it's a joy and a sorrow.
Mm. Thank you, Kate.
Hello, my name is Jean Hall. This is both a sorrow and a joy. The sorrow is that I lost my sister, Dr. Louise Jury, last week. And the joy is that it was a quick passing. She didn't suffer. She was talking right up to the end. And it just came so quick. So we are just really in shock still.
Mhm.
But she is with our, our ancestors and the rest of our family that had passed on. And so, I just want to just light a candle for her, 'cause she was such a wonderful person.
Mhm.
And we are gonna miss her deeply. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. Blessings. Yeah.
Not from the speaker. There you go. Give you this.
I like to light a candle of sorrow for some hard times that my daughter continues to go through, and a candle of joy for how she came to my rescue when, in a moment of, let's just say, stupidity, I tried to do something in the car while driving and wound up hitting a curb so hard that my passenger seat tire blew out. Thankfully, unharmed and no one else injured. And the one thing I'll really oddly cherish is that when the tow truck driver came and I explained what an idiot I was, he smiled very compassionately and said, "Well, don't feel too bad. I mean, you're the 15th person this week this has happened to." And I just thought it was so gracious of him, and in the middle of a lousy situation gave me a little spark of joy.
Thank you, Ralph. Anyone else? That's a tiny joy, sorrow, concern. Thank you. It's good to be heard and supported. This.
I have two, well, I don't know if they're tiny joys, but they're everyday joys of my chickens coming to greet me in the morning. Bring me such joy. And my little dog and my cat as they run around the house, breaking the silence and the quietness sometimes with their joy. And a personal joy that came as a gift. An old friend I did political work with back in the day, in the 70s, got in touch with me and said she was dealing with cancer. And I told her I'd come to visit. And she said, "You're the only one that came to visit." And we go way back. And I feel better already, she said. Crazy Hildy. I send her love and strength and hope.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you, Betsy, for reminding me that I have a joy. My name's Russ, and I rang the bell along with Joan and Bill I pull the harder pull that rocks the bell back and forth. And my joy is that I can do that.
Mm,
2 years ago, I discovered that I had a problem with my heart, and just before Christmas, I had quadruple bypass. But 2 years ago, there's no way I could have
mhm,
yanked on probably either of those ropes
mhm.
up there. So,
Mm,
yeah, that's a joy. I'm thankful.
yes. Thank you, Russ. Bill? No, okay. Joe? Mhm. Okay. We'll go with Joan and then we'll go to Zoom.
My joy is that Betsy has joined us. Thank you, Betsy, for all of your joy and wisdom. And also, I have a joy of my grandchildren. I have 5 grandchildren, and they all greet me with such joy.
Mhm.
It really lightens my heart.
Thank you, Joan. Okay, friends on Zoom.
Okay, Catherine, go ahead.
Good morning, friends. Long time since I've seen many of you. Lovely to see familiar faces and hear voices. And I have a couple of joys, one of which, thank you, Betsy, for reminding me, is my sweet border terrier who is about to turn 14 is still here with us, and every day with her is a great blessing. And that was a wonderful reminder about animals. And maybe my biggest joy for myself is that after 5 months of not being able to walk unassisted after breaking my ankle in 3 places in July, I'm walking around my kitchen this morning unassisted. Russ, I'm with you and thinking about how powerful it is that the body can heal. So really, that's a big joy. And I also have a sorrow, which is the very sad nature of the passing of my husband, Robert Catlin's brother, George Catlin, who died on Friday. And so we're mourning him. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and then we're gonna go with Emma next.
Hi, my husband Ed is recovering really well from his total knee replacement and can drive already and can walk on stairs and bend quite well. And so that's going well. And we finally were able to see our grandchildren, who we were kind of quarantining ourselves from because of the operation and the amount of physical therapy and so forth that he had to go to. And we didn't want to miss appointments with even a minor cold or minor flu. And so I finally saw my youngest granddaughter for the day. And she's 2.5, and she even helped me do some laundry and work around the house while her brother and mother were out playing at soccer game. And she unloaded the dryer for me into the basket of clothes successfully. That was great joy.
Thank you.
Okay, and then we're gonna go to Carolyn.
Good morning. I'm here with Tom at home, and we're preparing for a joyful visit from his sister, long awaited, from Pennsylvania.
Yes, she lost her son last year in February, and we had a wonderful time celebrating his life in August, and really looking forward to seeing her and her daughter the first time they're both coming here to visit. So joyful.
It's great to be with all of you, even at a distance. Thank you for making Zoom possible. That's a joy too. Thank you, Frank.
No problem.
Thank you.
And then I got a joy to share. I went and did my stress test and they did all the hooking me up to everything. And it looks like whatever the stress test is supposed to show doesn't show anything bad. So that's good.
Good. Good. Thank you, Frank. Okay. So for our sisters gone on and our sister relationships, blessings for our sons and our daughters that mutually support each other, for our animals, for our beloveds, for physical recovery. We named many different joys, for simple joy of greeting, and for all the joys and sorrows that we carry in our hearts unspoken. I'll just leave a moment of silence, that healing and light come to each of us to kindle more joy and to soothe the sadness. And as Julia reminded me today, in the front of your hymnal is the Prayer to Friends song, single sheet that you can hum along, sing along, read along, feel with as Julia plays Prayer to Friends. In my life, born of hope, born of sand, yearning joy when others strive. All I have, all I am. To see what I must see. Help me to be where I must be. Restless faith abide till we all are free. Fill my life, turn my hand. Thank you. And I will end the benediction with another short poem, Joy by Hilda Conkling. Joy is not a thing you see. It is what you feel when you watch waves breaking, or when you peer through a net of woven violet stems and spring grass. It is not sunlight, not moonlight, but a separate shining. Joy lives behind people's eyes. So may we grow our joy, grow our light, share it as we can, feed off of each other when we're a little bit depleted of either, and know that we as a community hold each other in our joys and sorrows. And blessed be. Amen. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. We have coffee, water, and the prelude. Prelude. Thank you, Julia. Thank you for all your gift of music. Beautiful. Thank you. I forgot announcements. Any announcements from anyone? Russ? Rob? Sorry.
Believe it or not, the 38th year. As I was saying, but none of you were hearing, for the 38th year, there's the annual solstice benefit concert. The money goes to not only the food bank, but also a very new organization that we're excited to help, whose name I can't pronounce, but which is very involved with Native American causes in our community. And one of their chief spokespeople is going to be one of our featured guests, a wonderful storyteller. We'll also have several special guest musicians, lots of stories and variety. It's going to be at the Ashfield First Congregational Church this coming Saturday. Doors open at 6:30, show starts at 7.
Yeah.
Hi, we could use a growler. I'm sorry, we could use a greeter for next Sunday morning. If anybody would like to do it, it doesn't take a lot. You stand out there and you welcome people as they come in the front door. Thank you, Sandra. Appreciate it. And Kim McKeague has volunteered to be one of the greeters for the Christmas Eve Vespers service. If anybody would like to join her, just let us know. Thanks.
And on that note, we are going to have a Christmas Eve service at 7 o'clock on the 24th December, which is a Saturday night. And we've got Jim Scott going to come and lead a musicful service with carols and more. There is a gathering on the Commons today at 2 o'clock to it's a memorial service for unhoused or people who don't have much of a community who have died. So it's a common memorial sponsored by Interfaith Council. And we have coffee hour, or coffee half hour. So there's coffee, there's kombucha, and there is cranberry cake. I also want to make a note. Kim, who joined us unmasked last week, got COVID, has COVID. And so she hopes nobody else got it, either from her or whatever. But we're going to be, especially because we're now in the red zone, I think we should really try to maintain our social distancing and only take off your mask when you're consuming a beverage or a piece of cake. Anyone else?
Okay, thank you, Kate. Thank you all. See you at the coffee table.
Jesus Christ.
I have an announcement. I have an announcement. The Social Justice Committee is meeting via Zoom today.
I do.
Contact Ellen or myself and we'll send you the Zoom link. And it's also, I believe it's in the WhatsApp that went out, hopefully, or the Clarion, one or the other. So 12:30 today, Zoom Social Justice Committee. Thank you all for joining us. We're doing that Zoom meeting to make it possible for some of our members who can't get to church, who come to church on Zoom. We're trying to offer the social justice this month on Zoom. So we're hoping that they will join us. Thank you all. Season's greetings.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. Hey, Carlin.
Hi, Gary. Hi, everybody.
Joan
Whoever-
thankfully reminded
whoever
me that
left.
if you're not able to get to the Solstice Benefit Concert live, it will be Zoomed and also on YouTube. So hopefully you can find that information out. There'll be publicity put out about it. If you can't find it, please contact me.
Or me.
Saturday. Are you performing, Gary, at the Solstice?
Christy is. She's one of the crew now.
Great.
I will be in my usual spot with the polar bear will be in attendance.
Meaning your head garb.
Yeah. It wouldn't be solstice without it. That's what.
Just a hat, or is it a mask too?
It's a hat with a face.
Yeah.
It started
Remember that.
It started many years ago, 20 years ago, plus, let's see, 1995, probably 95, 05, 15, 25 years ago at Becky's. She had a bear hat.
I remember that one too. I was going to say, where's the bear hat?
Yeah, that I would wear and sit in the front row. And then the bear hat started deteriorating quite